Here's something the fitness industry will never tell you. Some muscles make you better looking with every set you train them. And some muscles, past a certain point, actively make you worse looking. Same gym, same effort, opposite results. And most guys are unknowingly pouring years of work into the exact muscles that are lowering their looks. In this video, I'm going to give you the full map. Which muscles are capped, meaning past a point, more size makes your physique worse, and which are uncapped, meaning you can basically never build them too big. This is the difference between training for numbers and training for looks, and by the end, you'll be able to look at any physique and instantly see where the work went wrong. No cope, no bro science filler. Let's get into it. First, the thesis that explains everything in this video. So the rules aren't just my opinion. When someone looks at your body, they are not counting your muscles. They are reading your skeleton. Wide shoulders read as wide clavicles. A tight waist reads as a good rib cage to hip ratio. That read happens in a split second, and it's the read that decides attractive or not. So the entire game of training for looks is this: build the muscles that make your skeleton read better and avoid overbuilding the ones that make it read worse. Every muscle on your body either widens the read up top, narrows it in the middle, or, and this is the trap, widens it in the wrong place. That's the whole system. A muscle is capped when growing. It starts distorting the skeletal read. A muscle is uncapped when more of it only ever improves the read. Keep that one idea, and every verdict coming up will be obvious. Cap muscle number 1, the quads. This is the big one, and it's going to upset the leg day, is sacred crowd. Look at the golden era bodybuilders. The physiques everyone still calls the most aesthetic ever. They had what's called a V-taper, a wide upper body tapering into a small waist, with legs that stayed in line with the hips. Now look at modern bodybuilding, the X-frame, where massive quads sweep out wider than the hips. On stage, judged in a lineup, that wins shows. In clothes, in real life, huge outswept quads do one thing. They make your lower body wider, and every inch of width you add down there makes your upper body read narrower by comparison. You're literally training away your own shoulder width. The fix is simple. Build your quads until your legs look athletic and in line with your hips. That's the cap. After that, if you love training legs, shift the work to glutes and hamstrings. They grow front to back, not side to side, so they add power and shape without ever eating your V-taper. Quads, capped. Capped muscle number 2, the lower chest. Here's a history fact that rewires how you see the chest. Look at Greek statues. Look at the classical era strongmen. Look at the most aesthetic physiques before the 1960s. They all have huge shoulders and surprisingly flat chests. The reason is simple. The bench press barely existed. They built their bodies on overhead pressing. The worship of a big chest is only about 60 years old, and it came from equipment, not from aesthetics. And there's a real cost to overbenching. When the mid and lower chest overgrows, you get that heavy, drooping lower pec look, and mass concentrated at the center of your torso pulls the eye inward, making your shoulders read narrower. The eye goes where the mass is. You want it going outward, not to your sternum. The fix? Press up, not just forward. Keep some flat pressing, sure, but bias your chest work toward the upper chest and put real effort into shoulder pressing like the physiques that aged best in history. Lower chest, capped. Capped muscle number 3, and this one surprises people, the triceps. 2/3 of your arm size is triceps, so the internet tells you to hammer them for big arms. But here's what actually happens visually. The triceps hang on the underside of the arm when they're overdeveloped, especially if you're not extremely lean, especially if you have shorter arms. They don't read as muscular. They read as thick, soft arms. There's a reason the physiques that go viral with women are never tricep dominant. A hanging underside on a short upper arm just reads heavy. Meanwhile, the biceps sit on top. They peak. They're visible from the front in every shirt. The biceps are the display muscle. So the rule: if your arms are shorter or your triceps are clearly ahead of your biceps, you don't fix that with more biceps volume on top of everything else. You fix it by pausing direct triceps work and letting your biceps catch up. That's how rebalancing actually works. The overdeveloped muscle takes a break. You can't out. Volume a proportion problem. Triceps, capped. Biceps, build away. Now the good list. The uncapped muscles, starting with the most underrated one on the body, the lats. The lats attach along your back and flare outward, and when they grow, something magic happens to your silhouette. Your upper body reads wider, and your waist reads smaller at the same time from the front and from behind. It is the single most efficient muscle for the skeletal read because it fakes the two measurements that matter most: shoulder width and waist ratio in one muscle. And here's the part nobody appreciates: you cannot overbuild them. There has never been a physique in history that looked worse because the lats were too wide. The V gets deeper, the frame reads bigger, and it never tips over into distortion because all the width lands exactly where the read wants it. Heavy rows, weighted pull-ups, pullovers, lats, uncapped. Train them like it's your job. Uncapped muscle number 2, the side delts, the caps on the outside of your shoulders. This is the closest thing to directly editing your skeleton. Every centimeter of side delt is a centimeter added to your literal widest visible point. It reads as clavicle width, which is the single strongest signal in the entire body read. Narrow-shouldered guys, this is your rescue muscle. You cannot change clavicle length, but the delts sit right on the ends of the clavicles. So muscle, there is a width exactly where your bones stop. And like the lats, there is no cap. No one has ever looked at a physique and said the shoulders are too wide. One warning, the meta gets wrong. Don't train only side delts with raises. If the front delt lags, the shoulder loses that full, round, 360 look and goes flat from the side. So, shoulder presses for the whole shoulder, plus lateral raises for extra width. Side delts, uncapped, the most valuable muscle per rep on your body. Uncapped muscle number 3, the upper chest. Notice the pattern. The lower chest is capped, but the upper chest is uncapped. And the difference is direction. Lower chest mass droops downward and pulls the eye to the center. Upper chest mass builds a shelf that runs straight across your collarbones. It reads as thickness plated onto the frame itself, filling in the exact area a t-shirt shows. A full upper chest is rare precisely because benching doesn't build it well, which is why it stands out so hard when someone has it. The training is specific. The upper pec fibers run from your collarbone downward and inward, so they fire hardest when your arms travel up and across. Steep incline presses and pressing variations where the arms come up in front of you rather than flaring wide. If your gym has a decent incline machine, that's the move. Upper chest, uncapped. You can never have too much shelf. Uncapped muscle number 4, the abs, and the biggest myth in fitness attached to them. Everyone believes abs are made in the kitchen, just get lean and they appear. Half true, and the missing half is why most lean guys still have a flat, unimpressive midsection. Here's the analogy that makes it click. Ab muscles are like the bone structure of your face. A face with strong bones looks good even when it's not at its leanest, and a face with weak bones looks soft even when it is lean. Same with your core. If the ab muscles are actually built, physically thick, they show clearly even at a normal, livable body fat. If they're untrained, you can diet to being shredded and still barely see them because there's nothing there to see. Marathon runners are the proof, often extremely lean and often no visible abs at all. So train abs like a real muscle. Weighted, progressive, direct, weighted, decline, sit-ups, standing cable crunches, hard sets that get heavier over time. Abs, uncapped and criminally undertrained. Now, the two muscles that don't fit either list because their verdict depends on your bones, the neck, and the traps. These are conditionals. Here's the decision rule. The traps. If you have a longer neck, big traps are a gift. They fill the gap, shorten the neck's read, and give you that dense, powerful yoke look. If you have a short neck, be careful. Overbuilt traps swallow it entirely and your head sits directly on your shoulders. The neck itself, same logic reversed. A thin, long neck reads fragile. Direct neck work fixes that fast, and the neck grows quicker than almost any muscle. But if your neck is already short and thick, more neck just makes the head-shoulder area red compressed. So look at your own proportions and pick long neck, train traps hard, and go easy on direct neck work. Shorter neck, keep traps moderate and don't force neck size you don't need. Conditionals, the only two muscles where the answer is check your bones first. One more concept, and then the full verdict board. Because even the uncapped list has a context. Total size has a sweet spot, and it's set by your frame. A taller guy with wide clavicles and long limbs can carry a lot of muscle before anything reads off. A shorter guy with a narrower frame fills his read much sooner, and muscle past that point starts working against him, making him read wider than tall, blockier, not bigger. This is the part almost nobody says out loud. For looks, There is a point where the right move is maintenance, not more. You'll know you're near it when the mirror says the frame is filled. Shoulders clearly wider than waist, arms filling sleeves, chest filling the shirt. Past that line, chase sharpness, not size. Get leaner, fix lagging spots, keep the balance. The physiques that read best are almost never the biggest ones in the room. They're the ones where every muscle is exactly where the skeleton wants it. So here's the whole video on one board. Capped. Train them to the line, then stop pushing. Quads, because outswept legs eat your shoulder width. Lower chest, because central mass narrows your read. Triceps, because a heavy underside reads as thick arms, not big arms. Uncapped. Build them forever. They only ever help. Lats, side delts, upper chest, abs. Conditionals. Check your bones first, neck and traps. And behind every verdict, one thesis. People read your skeleton, not your set count. So put muscle where it makes the skeleton read better, and stop feeding the muscles that blur it. That's the difference between 3 years in the gym that transform your look and 3 years that just make you heavier. If this helped, subscribe. Next up, the 5 muscles that change your face, the highest return training on your entire body. See you in that one.